in sunny Howth and I am with Edie Saunders. Hello, Edie.
Hi,
Thank you for chatting to me. Now, the way I always start is, who is Edie Saunders? Tell us about yourself.
I'm a 79-year-old. I'll be 80 in March 24th next year. And I've lived in Howth all my life. And I've loved it. It has been the best place. But I have travelled and I like to see other things, but my home was in Howth.
And you would tell me that when you started your career, when you started working, it was in Dublin city centre, and you worked in the rag trade there.
Yeah. It was a wholesale. They used to import cloth for the industry, and so I got my first job there.
Yeah, because you were telling me that your father sent your eldest sister to secondary school, and then she couldn't get a job. And then he went, well, enough of this. And you went to
the technical school.
And you did your secretarial course.
Accounting, shorthand, and which was great then. Now it's obsolete. I think mostly. I don't know anywhere that would be doing shorthand.
And where was that? Where was that college you went to?
It was in Marino.
Marino, Marino College is still there.
It's still there. It was a great place. And you learned an awful lot. You know,
I mean, amazing skills to have, because you could have gone anywhere with them. Then.
We did other subjects too.
You
know, the usual for a sort of a secondary school come technical school. And it was, made loads of friends then from Malahide. Like, they came from everywhere to that.
And so what age were you when you finished that course?
I was, I think I was between 16 and 17.
And did you get a job straight away?
I did. I did, actually. That's the job. You know, there were kind of a good few jobs going.
Was there? So
for general office work.
You
know, and that's what
And it's interesting with the rag trade, because other women we've talked to have mentioned that there was this brilliant rag trade in Dublin at the time.
It was huge,
actually.
I think a lot of it was over, as I've said, parallel there to Grafton Street. I can't think of the name of the street there now. It was down near that church, you know.
South Ann Street and around there, because Kathy Sohan, who we talked to, and her mother worked there, and then we talked to somebody else who'd worked in a factory in, I think it was a Tala, making bras, and there was all this manufacturing, and it employed so many women, and you were saying that kind of petered out.
That petered out when they started to get markets in Asia. And I'd say China was probably the first one, because it was the only one people kind of knew. We didn't know too much about Thailand and all these other countries in Asia. But then the buyers would go off, the Irish buyers at certain times of year would go off and do purchasing from these people, you know.
And they would bring in the manufactured clothes. And so when did that start happening?
I would say probably in around the 70s.
And so slowly
you know, there was a lot still worked, and there were a few people, like even today, the Swans, well, they did manufacture, but they have started now to bring in it was mainly menswear, and boys wear, and they're out now in Finglas there somewhere.
Oh man, and they
don't manufacture anymore; they just import.
But
they're the wholesalers. Well, they do a bit of retailing. They have got a couple of shops.
And tell us about the first company that you worked for then, when you were 16.
I can't remember what it was, but it was up in Mill Abbey Street. And I went in there. Of course, I was nervous, you know. I mean, everything is new. And I was working in an office there. I was doing reception plus bookkeeping. And I worked with two ladies. As I told them, old then. I was only very young.
Well, you were only 16. What age would they have been?
They would. To judge in today's thing, I would say, yes, they had to be 50,
Yeah,
50,
which was ancient.
50 to 60,
Yeah.
of course.
And you were telling me they weren't very nice to
They
you.
weren't very friendly. I suppose they didn't have anything in common with me anyway.
Yeah.
But
they didn't. It could have gone either way. They could have taken you under their wing and been nice.
Be mentors, but they weren't actually.
Yeah.
So the phone was always busy. So you were trying to do other work while answering the phone, and like you had to have the books on the desks for these ladies in the morning. So I take them out of the safe and had it prepared. But I was always running after myself. So
you were telling me that that you worked so hard you didn't even take a lunch break.
Lunch break. I was so conscientious. Anyway, what would you say? They didn't, despite I was there probably about 3 months and things didn't kind of get any better.
Yeah.
And they just decided one day, because I didn't do something quick enough, it was the words they used and the way they used them, that they thought they'd never see the day when I could do my job well. And I knew I was giving it my everything.
Yeah.
And I just lost it. And I told them, that's it. I won't swear about it. But I said, I'm leaving. I'm going into the boss now. So you can do your own reception and everything else. I'm off.
That's amazing strength of character at that age to stand up to those women.
Well, the boss was nice, the real boss. And he said, look, would you not stay? Never mind those people. I'll have a word with them. Yeah. I said, look, truthfully, I can't stand looking at them now.
Were you startled with your strength at that age to just be able to go, no, actually my boundary has been crossed there?
Yeah, I think when you hit the wall, that's it.
Yeah.
This far and no further. And, I didn't make a mistake, to be honest. I wouldn't have been happy there even after they said that. I wouldn't. That doesn't leave your head, no matter what they do for you in the future. So I left there and I was delighted with myself. I told my mum. Mum was always relaxed about things. Yeah. And Dad said, well, why? Well, I said they were abusive to me when I was working my hardest, Yeah. So
and
just can't stand it.
So this would have been when? This 1950s?
This would be,
60s?
Oh, yeah, it would be the 60s. Yeah.
The 60s. So did you no bother finding another job?
No, I actually found a job quickly enough in Finlaters. I like Finlaters, up on O'Connell Street. It was up the other end near the museum where it is now, near the Rotunda, that end. Yeah. And they were all nice. They were all younger people working there. Yeah. So we had a good rapport, Yeah. And the other thing in the other job was, if you went out for lunch, you couldn't get back in until 2 o'clock.
What?
Yes, you couldn't get back in. I thought it's ridiculous.
Well, they'd lock you out of the office.
You wouldn't. Well, the main door of the building would be locked to you.
Oh, but did you have to take your lunch break? Or
if you took your lunch break and you went out, no matter what time, whether it be, say, earlier in your lunch break, you didn't get back until they opened again at 2 o'clock.
And did you have to clock in again? Did you clock in and out? Clock in and out. So you could miss hours if you went out early. No. So did you not go out, or did you?
No, I didn't go out, and then I was kind of trying to catch up at lunchtime on the bookkeeping while there was no phone calls. Yeah. And so I never took a break. But I left. I couldn't wait for 5 o'clock. I left at 5 was my thing. I had my coat on then. Yeah. So if they didn't finish their books, they could put them away themselves. Yeah.
And you were living out here in Howth?
I was living in Howth, and the buses were probably every half hour, 20 minutes at that stage.
And tell us about your family.
There were 8 of us. And ranging, there was a difference between the youngest and the oldest, about 13 years. Oh, yeah. So Tom and Joe were the eldest of the family. And then Peter came along, and Frida. Yeah. And then Marjorie, Jimna, and myself. I was second youngest, and Anna is the youngest.
And so at that time, were you all at home?
We were all at home, we were all at home at that stage, and then Tom got married when he was about 24.
Yeah.
And he went off to live, obviously, somewhere else. He's lived in Howth, he got a house at Howth.
Yeah.
My Uncle George lived down in Church Street, and he built on to that. So Uncle George died, and he gave Tom the house, and they've lived there ever since. And Tom died only about 5 years ago, just before Marjorie.
Yeah.
He died in the February. Yeah. And Peggy is still there.
Yeah.
She's 89 now.
Wow. Yeah. And so what was it like living there and going out? Did you socialise in the centre of Dublin, or did you socialise in Howth?
Well, there was a hotel, Royal Hotel at the time, they called it, not the Bailey Court, but that's the last name it had. Yeah. They had...
where was the Royal? Is it
just
on the seafront?
In the village.
Oh, right, yeah.
In the village, where they're doing the development there now, but it's stopped. Yeah. And just opposite all the little shops and that centre and so forth. And they were all little shops. One was a haberdashery, the other was a convenience store. They didn't call it convenience then, just...
Little grocery. Yeah.
And then Smith's had a grocery shop opposite the church. Yeah. And then there was a wool shop, and then you had the bakery. Yeah. And then you had the butchers. Yeah. And the chemist. There was two chemists in Howth.
And was there a dance hall in Howth for people to go, or did people prefer to go into town? If they were your age group, when you were in your teens and early 20s, did you prefer to go into town to go out?
No, well, Jim lived up off near Portobello there, Rathmines.
Jim was husband.
And we'd go to, the same with all my sisters, and Tom. Tom wasn't that much into dancing, but he did eventually get there. Yeah. But
well, you had to dance then, didn't you?
We all used to socialise a lot together. Yeah. We were all...
Where did you meet Jim?
I met him in... it wasn't Iron, it was another dance hall up in Parnell Square.
So was Parnell Square the big centre of socialising?
It was, actually. Yeah. For the north side, definitely.
Yeah. Was it all dance halls around the whole square, or was it...
No, I think there was a church, and there was obviously the rotunda was where the square began. Yeah. And
it was on the same side where the Gate Theatre is.
Yes,
it was that side, the opposite side of the road. There used to be all dance halls there. Yeah.
And they had little hotels, Yeah. And it was a lovely area.
Because I've heard of that Iron. There was, wasn't it? That was, and I think country people used to go there.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. And people thought we were all country because we lived.
Because you lived in Howth.
Yeah, because it was only 9 miles out. But then there was a lot of country. A lot of fields and country fields.
Oh, so when you were working in the, there used to always be a real big country-city divide between Dublin.
Right. Yeah.
Would you have kind of been considered country in Dublin?
They would think that. They did think it, actually.
Dublin culties.
Dublin culties. That's you wouldn't have been regarded as culties, as they would say, would you?
Well, not like you come from the west of Ireland. But, yes.
But there used to be a thing in Dublin that anybody from just outside the pale, as they say, any way out was a cultie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. Even on the south side, you can imagine all the land that was there.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't built on. I mean, John Drum and Still Organ, they had a lot of green fields. And from Howth to Dublin, they had the Raheny estate and one side, and they'd fields behind the main houses on the Howth Road.
So getting the bus into town, you like going through countryside?
Yeah, you feel you
well, but you didn't. Living in Howth, did you have a sense you were living in a village in the countryside? Or, because now you live in Howth, you go, I'm very much part of Dublin.
Yes, it is. It's only an extension of Dublin, and the fact that there's so much, the Dart made a huge difference to commuting, because the buses, everybody, would get on the bus and it'd stop at every
Stop.
stop.
Yeah.
You'd be bored. It didn't take any more than half an hour, though. And it always stopped in Eden Quay there was the stop.
And then when did you notice, when did you get this sense, it's just all built up? Did you just kind of...
Gradually, they started to build on the estate because that estate, the house burnt.
Yeah.
Now, the Guinnesses, I think I'm actually going up for a tour on that now next week.
Which house is in Raheny?
Raheny, the Raheny Park.
Oh, right. So there was a big house there.
Huge big house. It had a huge estate.
And was that house still occupied and running as a big house when
the family lived in it?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now I get the full details on Thursday because we're going for a tour. And I think the Guinnesses, as the families grew, the next generation kind of dispersed. I'd say they were all educated in England at that time. Yeah, but
did you ever meet any of the Guinness? Did you ever see them?
I didn't.
No, they were.
Them, no, just heard of them.
Yeah, and so did they sell the house or?
They were renovating or something happened like that. I don't know how the fire came, but the fire burnt it down, and then they never rebuilt. Yeah. The walled garden is still there, and they, the council think all do a great work in the park.
But after that went, it was they built on that land and gradually...
a lot of it was built on, and then a lot of it they gave to the council to make a park because they didn't want continuous buildings on the land. And it's a lovely location anyway, so... because you're looking out to the sea on one side and...
but that whole road in through Clontarf and everything, was there a lot of countryside there too? Because now it's just so built up.
Probably at the back, they were more, what would you say, older houses now, I'd say. There was little bungalows and there were a few big houses in that, in Clontarf there, as in, you would say they belonged to an estate, but they didn't, but they just were rich people that built houses there.
But you were talking about getting the bus in, but you were a driver from when you were quite young.
Yes, I was. I loved driving. I loved cars. And my dad had lorries, and that, but I couldn't drive a lorry. Yeah. But there were always...
But it was an amazingly independent thing to learn to drive and get your car. Like my mother never learned to drive. A lot of women of your generation didn't.
No,
and you would see
actually.
the husband was the driver and the husband always drove. Yeah. So what inspired you to go, I'm going to...
I just liked cars. I liked driving. Jim never liked driving.
Oh, did it? Were you the driver?
Yeah, well, he learned to drive and he could drive. He got his test the first time. I didn't get it the first time because they said I went through a stop sign, but the lollipop lady, as I always found, she put out the lollipop stick at the wrong time.
She pulled it out just as she...
Yeah,
and
just as I got for it.
And did you go with them? Oh.
Well, I said, if I stop suddenly, I'm going to... jerk him, and there was no seatbelts at that time.
And there's no... Wow. And, when you're having your driving test or something like that happens, you go, oh, there it goes.
Well, I mean, the lorry, she could see I wasn't going to stop. So
and back then, when you... so was it like now, if you failed your test, they told you straight away?
Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah. And then did it take ages to get another one?
Yeah. He said, well, not too long, but I had to do another few... I didn't have a car, and... My dad didn't have a car because he had the lorries, and Tom had a car. Yeah. But I had to get insured, and
So, the only time that you were driving, was it just when you were having your lessons then?
When I was having my lessons, or Tom would give me the car, and I'd go along the Harbour Road and turn around at where the Pier House used to be, and back down the quay and turned and gave it back to him, Yeah. So he was generous in that. He taught me.
And did you, as soon as you sat behind the steering wheel, did you go, I love this?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I've thought about driving too,
And we'd hire a car then first, Jim and I, and we'd go off down around the country. Yeah. And pick up hitchhikers.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Then
everybody hitchhiked then.
I remember hitchhiking in the 1980s, and you wouldn't You
wouldn't do it now.
dream of doing it now.
Not after those girls going missing.
Oh.
That hitchhiked out of Dublin, it was very sinister, but
it was a thing because public transport wasn't great.
No, it wasn't great.
People you couldn't just rent a car.
Yeah.
So it was an essential part.
Well, we stopped, I think we'd gone down to Kerry.
Yeah.
And went around Dingle and that, and as we were going up towards Galway, just outside Limerick, we picked up an American couple. They were
Who were hitchhiking? Wow.
Yeah, they were hitchhiking, and they were going to Galway. So we had a good chat in the car when we were travelling.
Yeah. So
yeah, and no matter where you went, like you'd see people on the road. They'd have little placards saying where they're going.
Yeah. So you used to go off on little trips with Jim.
Yeah. So nobody would nowadays. You wouldn't pick up anybody.
No, you wouldn't.
Not that anybody be hitchhiking, but if they were, you wouldn't pick up anybody now. You'd be afraid to. Yeah. I mean, quite honestly, at times I used to drive by and there'd be Sabina girls or that, and the guys, you'd say, oh, look, they're waiting on the bus, it's wet. You'd stop and pick them up, but nowadays you couldn't do that.
Yeah. And would you drive, so when did you get your own car?
I got my own car probably, it could have been 8 years after I got married, actually.
Oh, right, okay, so it's...
But we drove because we'd hire a car.
Yeah. Yeah. And where did you meet Jim? In
the dance hall.
In Parnell.
Parnell.
Yeah. My mother told me that she was in Manchester, that in the dance halls there. Now she's older than you. My mum's 91, but she went in the dance halls in Manchester in the 50s. You couldn't refuse a dance from a man. And you could risk being thrown out if you refused to dance. Yeah. Was there a similar thing?
Well, there was a similar thing. You didn't embarrass anybody, but you'd run. You'd run for
So you'd see someone coming up
and saying, well, now if he's going to pick me.
But was it the same kind of thing that you waited for the fellas to come to ask you to dance?
Well, the ones that you didn't want to dance with, you'd be gone before they'd get over to you.
But when you went out to the dance hall, was it like fellas on one side, women on the other?
More or less.
Did any of the women dance together, or was it always no?
They did, actually.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one way of escaping.
Yeah. Because you'd want to dance and you could have ended up just been sitting, Yeah. And what kind of, was it ballroom dancing or did you do jiving too?
Oh, it was jiving, quite a bit. What do you call him? Oh, God, I can't think. Bailey was his surname. Bill Bailey, was it? I don't know, no.
Bill Bailey's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Yeah. It was...
He did the Hucklebuck and all that sort of thing. No, he wasn't Irish.
Brendan Boyer.
Brendan Boyer did that.
Yeah.
In that time, they were on stage. They were not entertainment, but they were the music for the dancing.
So the music they were playing was that kind of more upbeat. Because in my mother's day in Manchester, and that would have been in the 50s, also in the Astoria, was actually owned by Steve Coogan's grandfather. Oh. He would come and tap you on the shoulder if you were jiving, and you could also be thrown out for jiving, because it was more the in the dance halls in the Irish community then. It was ballroom dancing or the Siege of Venice or stuff like that. Yeah. But it was all jiving by the time in the...
Well, those that possibly couldn't do the ballroom dancing did the jiving.
Jiving's hard to do properly.
But there were a lot of people that did learn, I mean, boys and girls that did learn the... particularly in Cleary's and...
Oh, you were telling me there was...
They would do the ballroom dancing and...
Did you do ballroom dancing?
Lovely. Well, I learned how to waltz. We could waltz a bit, Jim didn't care for dancing as much, but we would just... We learned from looking at others. And that was the only way.
And
we didn't go
I didn't realise it, but there was a ballroom in Cleary's.
Oh yeah, it's upstairs.
Now, would that have been a regular haunt too? Or
It would, yeah. It was very, always packed.
And you said there was a lovely, they used to have a dress dance at Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Was that a big...
Yeah. Most of the big places had dress dances, or you could go to the Green Isle Hotel was a great place.
Where was the Green Isle?
Green Isle was out on the road south. It's probably, you could say, past Tala.
Oh, right, yeah.
On the main road, actually, but you got in through a kind of a back area.
Yeah.
And it was the first biggest hotel that I could ever remember. And they had a lot of dances like that, like, you know, dinner dances, they call them, and that, and there'd be ballroom dancing.
And what was a dress dance?
It was
you dressed up more.
Oh yes, you are.
It was evening attire.
Evening attire, and the guys had the bow ties and.
Did you love that?
Yeah, it was lovely. Now at that stage, I think it was nearly, going out of fashion.
Yeah.
Because obviously, other things took over.
Yeah.
I mean, people were jiving and they were going to local clubs and all that.
Yeah.
We didn't belong to a club.
But in that era, that was a huge era for the dance bands, for the show bands, as they call them.
Oh, the show bands were thriving at that stage.
And did you follow any particular show bands? Or would you just...
Dickie Rock, and we did do Brendan Boyer. We saw a lot of him. And what do you call you man from Mullingar?
Joe Dolan.
Joe Dolan.
Did you see Joe Dolan live?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Was he brilliant?
Oh, he was brilliant, actually. I remember going with Marjorie. We were going out for a drive. And we went into the golf course, the back of the airport. Yeah. And for lunch. Yeah. And who was sitting on the settees? We were going for a lunch. Joe Dolan. Yeah. Dickie Rock. Oh, there were several that they had been out playing a game of golf. Yeah. So I said, would we go over and ask for their autograph? And they could see that we were looking at them. Yeah. And you could see Joe Dolan smiling. Yeah. So I said, look, we'll go over and we'll ask for the autographs. I mean, they can only say no. So we did. We had a chat with them. Yeah. With the two. But
they were big stars at the...
Yeah, they were, absolutely. They were
Joe was a phenomenal singer.
Yes. And he had the charisma.
Did he? He had the charisma. And even when you were going to the dance halls then, when he sang, did you go, wow, that's something else?
Yeah, people would stop dancing and listen.
Yeah, because he really had, when you listen back, you go, wow, he was like an Irish Demis Roussos. He really had the...
Absolutely. Yeah. I thought that myself, and then I said, oh, don't say that to somebody.
But people would literally, so the dance bands were there to accompany the dancing, but when Joe sang, people would stop and just...
And he probably could have been a bigger star had he...
I think he could have been a big international star.
Management, yeah. Yeah,
but I think he probably did really well.
He was well known in England and the continent. You know,
there was the whole thing. Yeah. Was it the same here during that time that the dance halls would close during Lent?
Yes, they did. Yeah,
and that's where a lot of them went to England. Yeah, and they go and had built up their circuit there. They during Lent they go and work in the UK.
They did. Oh, he was popular, I'd say, now all over Europe. I don't think he wanted to break through to America and all, far-flung places.
I think back then they did very, very well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did. No, they did a lot of travelling, but they had fun too.
Yeah, because there was dance halls everywhere, and of course there was
absolutely. I mean, you had the entertainment space. Yeah. I mean, it's like going to Whelan's in Dublin. Mary used to come. Her friend used to go, and they were going to a party, and he'd say, "I have a few tickets." So Mary and I would go. Yeah. Into Whelan's, and the people would be touring around Ireland. Americans too. Yeah. Very nice, like smallish venues, but for those packed.
When was that?
That was only, we could say, about 10 years ago.
Yeah, because Whelan's is a newer kind of, yeah.
10, 12, 15 years. The years
Do you go to shows still? Do you go and see music?
No, I don't really. Not as much, no. I mean, Jim and I would go to the concert hall. We'd take off. We wanted something particularly around Christmas.
Yeah.
Went to Board Gosh quite a bit and Three Arena.
But did by the time you got married, and did you still go dancing? Oh, were your dancing days kind of over then?
We didn't go dancing as much. We would go out, not as often, obviously. Yeah. But we'd go out at least once a month for a meal and, into the hotel. Bailey Court was one. I was in the Royal Hotel at the time. Yeah. And it was a lovely restaurant. Family that owned it were very good at the jobs they did. And you always felt good about sitting in it. There was a pre-dinner drinks and tidbits on in this little area before you'd go in for your meal and so forth. Yeah, it was lovely. And then the Claremont, as we know it, it's now Howth Lodge, up not far from here. Yeah. That was a lovely hotel. Yeah. It looked like a castle, as we thought in the days. It was right beside the beach. Yeah. And we would go there on other occasions.
And so what age were you when you had your first child?
I was 27, 26, 27.
And did your life change radically then? Were you working up until that point?
I was working up to that point, yeah. I worked up to a few days before Vicky was born. I mean,
were you still in Findlaters?
No, I got Parsons. Remember the factory?
Oh, yeah.
That was on the way in. A job came up in that, and I thought, well, that's great. No travelling.
Yeah.
So took the job and never regretted it. And we just... I loved having Vicky, yeah. She was a good baby, really. And then walked, and I used to call into my mother every day.
Yeah.
Every day. She lived in Main Street, and I lived up in Ballkill Park, and every day I never pass that.
And did
she loved my kids?
What was it? What did it feel like then when you were a mum and you had, you didn't, you weren't working? Yeah.
No, I at that stage, I'm not sure whether it was around that my dad got an agency for the oil, on the harbour it was for all fishing trawlers. So I said I'd do his books for him.
Oh, so
I worked it into my own time.
Fab. Yeah.
So it was ideal because we all had our small kids at the same time. So in summer months we'd go to the beach or go out for walks together.
So you had the best of all worlds because you had your work and your own wage and you were a mum and you because a lot of women back then did give up their...
They did. Well, they had to in the early stages because if they worked for the government, it was mandatory.
Yeah. And did you know women who had difficulty with that? Because I've talked to women who look back and go, I lost pension payments, I lost my career, I never got back into the workforce, and they found it really hard.
Well, what happened was, I suppose, too much time had elapsed before the children were sort of grown up and going to school and then working, to retrain to get back in. You lost the art, I suppose, of continuity.
Yeah, and it was often hard for women because then they were dependent on their husband.
They were.
And it totally depended on what kind of man he was, because some men...
Oh, yes, that they weren't kind to their families. They just thought it was a rite of passage. They do what they like and you do what you're told, attitude.
Yeah.
But lots of them didn't do that.
Lots of them didn't.
Were good.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? You hear of some, I just know from talking to lots of women of that generation, there's some types of husbands who would hand over the wage packet and get their money back, and others who went, it's mine, and give them the minimum, and then the woman would be scrabbling around for whatever bit of work to make ends meet. So you were lucky that you could keep your...
I was, because all my brothers-in-laws, you know, Raymond and Tom Lantry was his husband, and they would play golf. There was a local guy that owned land up on the hill of Howth and the Upper Cliff Road, and he built a pitch and putt.
Yeah.
Now, there was no golf clubs. There was only a private golf club, Howth Golf Club, on the peninsula. Sutton, I think, had just started too. But this pitch and putt started, so they all started to do a little bit of pitch and putt, and it was on a Sunday morning, so they'd go off to that. And I mean, nobody minded, like they had to have some time out. And then they would adjourn to, as we called it, Joe Rickards, the Pier House, and he was involved in the pitch and putt too. And they'd have their few pints and come home for their dinner. Like, it was kind of like very scheduled, everything. At that time, particularly dinner was served at midday, so to speak. It could be 1:30, 2. And they'd come home and the dinner would be ready, and we'd go off then walking with the kids. Or there was no real playgrounds.
What did Jim do? What was his...
He worked in accessories for the clothing industry, and that's obviously all the bits and bobs that it takes to make clothing, and that went on until, as I said, that the clothing industry kind of closed down, really, most of it, and it wasn't viable. So then he didn't own that one. He worked for somebody else, but then he went in with somebody to do the furniture business, bedding and furniture. So he loved that job anyway.
How did he react when when that whole industry was changing and it was ending? Jim, did he find that stressful, or did he go, no, I just have to do something else?
No, Jim wasn't distressed.
was he not?
No. Paul, he wasn't a stressed out guy. But, all right, he took his responsibility seriously.
We should say that Edie is Paul's auntie, and that Frida is Paul's mum, and that this is the connection here. So he was very relaxed.
Well, I mean, he wasn't... he wasn't totally stressed. He always knew he'd do something else. So this guy he knew started up the business, and then he incorporated him in it. So and then he died, so Jim took over the business and ran it until he finished work. And
there was ups and downs. There was some terrible recessions around then, wasn't there? There was
80s were pretty bad.
Weren't they? They were grim. I remember, I went to college in the 80s, and I graduated in 1987, and nearly everybody in my class emigrated. There's only a few stayed behind.
It was a poor time.
It was grim.
Very. But I, honest to God, I'll tell you, Anne, we didn't realise it. You see, there wasn't all this emphasis, that, you get a house and you must furnish it with the top of the range stuff. You must have it carpeted. You must have it painted. You must have the garden done. When we bought the house, we furnished it gradually, had sufficient beds, and I did a lot of the work with my sister, Marjorie, and we each did it to, furnish or painted our own homes, and if we needed tiling done, you had to get a tiler. But you kind of did a lot. I enjoyed doing the work myself.
I
was particular,
so many.
I always liked. I knew what I wanted, and I would work it to my perfection.
But I've heard so many women of your generation and my mum's generation, similar generations, saying exactly that. That you get the house, but you don't expect everything.
No,
You know, it was gradually this, that, we'll get,
Everybody was content to buy in time. And it's not that they didn't want more, of course they did, but it wasn't a priority.
Yeah.
If your family were healthy, which thank God mine were, we didn't worry too much about that.
Yeah. And would you go off on a holiday every year with the family?
Not
was
every
that a
year.
thing?
No, not every year. You know, if you wanted something else, you had to prioritise what you wanted.
And did you ever go off on sunny holidays, like to Spain? Wasn't that just coming in?
Yeah, we did go. We did go away. You know, when I think Mary's only about 3.
Yeah.
And I think there's 4 years between her and Gillian. Yeah. And then 1 year less between Vicky and Gillian. Yeah, we had good times. There's no doubt. We used to holiday a lot in Ireland. You know, when we got the car, you just drive off and stop where you wanted to. You didn't pre-book.
You didn't pre-book.
No. You know,
and what was it like? What was it like back then?
Oh, it was good. It was easy.
Yeah.
It was definitely easy. And when we were down in Kerry and Cork and that the west of Ireland, we'd always find a beach that nobody else was on. And we'd be there till 10 o'clock at night on a summer's night.
And I know, looking back, you can have rose-tinted glasses, but what the summers were, there was beautiful.
Well, we always got good holidays. Yeah. You know, we went to Photo Island, you know, down in Cork. Yeah. 1 year we booked that. And it was a lovely place. It had all the facilities. You had a little house, a 3-bedroom house, and all the facilities about it. There was a golf course, there was swimming pools, there was tennis courts. So the kids were delighted. So they went to their club, and Jim and I go off to the golf course.
Yeah. Do you play golf yourself?
We weren't playing kind of professionally. We were mulligan about going on. Yeah. But it was right adjacent to the cliff tops. Yeah. Yeah. Down in East Cork. Yeah. And it was beautiful, a beautiful area. And the sun was shining, and you think you were in the south of France. And they had a little landing. You could go down steps onto to get to the water and that. Now, there was no beach per se on it, but it was a lovely area. And we enjoyed that holiday. Yeah. Really.
And one of you, so you've 2 daughters here in Ireland.
Yes.
And one lives in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
How did she end up in Hong Kong?
Well, she worked in the banking, and she, as I told you, I won't go into detail, but she worked in the bank, and then she left that bank and went travelling, and then she came back and got a job in Citibank. And her boss there was going to Hong Kong, and he rang her one day and said, "Look, Vicky, I need a second in command. Would you like to come to Hong Kong?" So she did.
So how long has she been in Hong Kong?
She's been in Hong Kong, I would say, around 15 years.
Wow. And is she going to stay there forever, do you think?
Well, definitely.
Does she love it?
Well, she has her residency.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have to now be sort of sponsored. Yeah. So she can come and go as she pleases.
Have you been out to Hong Kong?
Yes, I've been out there twice.
What is it like?
Oh, lovely. What do you, yeah. I never thought I'd go east. I always looked to the west. Yeah. America was my supposed destination.
Have you been to America?
Yes, I've been to America several times. But we went west. That was lovely. Mary came with me. Jim didn't want to go. It didn't bother him, America. Yeah. And but when we went over to Vicky said, I'll go down to Singapore and I'll meet you in Singapore. We'll have a holiday there. So we stayed in a beautiful hotel. We stayed there for a week, and let me see, was it? I went with, I think it was Mary or Gillian, I'm not sure which. And then they flew back home. And I think we flew up, Vicky and I flew back up to Hong Kong. I think it was Gillian came with me, actually. Because at that time I didn't fly on my own. Not that length of time. It was a long flight.
And would you still go off travelling?
I'm not interested as much now. Like, I suppose if I was younger, probably wouldn't mind travelling a lot more. But it doesn't bother me now. I've done the places I really wanted to go.
Yeah.
And with Vicky's help, I saw a lot of Asia.
Oh, have you travelled a lot in Asia as well?
Yeah, we went into China, and Mary came over then for a week, and we went into China when Vicky was working because she was back at work.
Yeah.
And we went around. It was lovely. Yeah, really nice spot. She lived up on Hollywood Road. You know, they were all English names because obviously...
it used to be a colony, yes. The interesting thing about somewhere like that is it's just so completely different.
Oh, yeah.
It's in every way.
Yes,
and
it was a beautiful city. They had lovely buildings. Vicky lived in... you could see over Victoria Harbour. You know, and they always did a great lighting up of their city and their buildings. Yeah, they were passionate. And once a week they would have fireworks.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Kowloon, if you went over to Kowloon, which is only about a mile away, you got a ferry. And Vicky, I think, lived in Kowloon that time. And she was just overlooking the bay, as I said. And we went down to the shoreline one night, and the night that they had the fireworks, you know, they had it on a Saturday night, and they were great.
Yeah. And does Vicky come back a lot?
Oh, yeah, she comes back at least once a year.
Yeah.
The only time she didn't travel, she did travel, she decided, I think she didn't come one year because of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And then she came, they were allowed out, she came that following year, but when she went back she had 3 weeks quarantining in a hotel room on her own. She was working. They made them quarantine, and there was no such thing as saying or shying away from doing what you were told. You did what you were told. I mean, they're definitely great people. If they thought they had a cold, they would wear a mask, you know, to protect other people.
Yeah. So she had to quarantine on her own. She had to
quarantine, and she worked while she was doing the quarantining, but she did book a hotel herself because she had to pay for it herself, and it was over the harbour. So she said, if I'm going to be in it for 3 weeks, I'm going to have a view.
Yeah.
So she did have her view.
And
the time passed, and of course the hotel manager came up to her when it was coming up to 12 o'clock of her last time there, after midnight, and he said, look, you can have the room for the night, you know, for nothing. She said, I have my bag packed and I'm off home.
Right at the midnight, that's it, I'm out of here, thank you so much. Yeah.
She didn't want to look at it for another night if she didn't have to. So she loves it over there. You know, it's a lovely place. She's met lovely people. You know, it's cosmopolitan. So
it's so different and connected to
all look, good few Australians and that come up there, and then likewise they go down to Sydney or Brisbane or somewhere.
And tell me, Edie, when did you lose Jim?
It was 2022.
Oh, so it's very recent.
Yeah, it was the 5th of December. Well, we knew all that year that he was going down rapidly at that stage. Before he had his, you know, he could walk and that, but then he was beginning to fall. And He was losing. He had got Parkinson's.
Yeah.
But his physicality in the Parkinson's wasn't as bad as his mental state. They called it Lewy body syndrome. And some people get it early and some people get it
What
late.
is that?
It's a type of dementia. It's a dementia that anybody with Parkinson's suffer from. Well, that's what it is. The shakes and the things are from the brain.
And did you keep him at home, or did he have to?
Well, we had him for a long time, but he was beginning to wander out, and then it was okay to manage to a point, because we had trackers and we always knew where he was. So if we need to go get him or phone him, like he had a phone and he could use the phone, then the phone, we began to forget the phone and that sort of things and get how to use it. But he always answered if I phoned him.
And during that whole illness, did it feel like the Jim you knew changed before?
Yeah, he had changed. There's no doubt about it. But then when the Lewy body sets in, it's a horrible disease. Really, is that where the balance? It changed his whole demeanour. He was never an angry man or anything like that in life. And then he'd say, I'd say, well, don't go out now, it'll be late at night. And I said, go out in the morning, if you want to go. Now you're holding me prisoner, you know what I mean? And that wasn't him at all, ever.
Yeah.
And we got another test, His professor, Healy, was great with them because his dad had Parkinson's.
Yeah.
So he understood it. It was slightly different to Jim's. Everybody's
different. Yeah.
So we got a lovely place up on the hill of Howth, but then he found out that he could get out through the emergency doors.
And
so we did, a few times, and they said, look, we can't lock the emergency doors for obvious reasons, and so we got a place down in Baldoyle, which was lovely.
Was that more orientated to people who were?
It was a safe place, yeah.
And
they had a specific unit for anybody that had dementia that wasn't coping well out.
And how did he cope with moving into? Did he know that he wasn't well and he needed this?
He wasn't well, but he used to always then think he was at work. And he loved being at work. So he'd sit at the nurse's station and sit in on their meetings.
And they didn't mind?
No, I said to him, God, does he not do they'd be doing their stretching exercise, and Jim wasn't interested in that. But he used to read a lot. And then we got music because he liked his music.
So did he keep reading when
he wasn't reading as much then, but we did keep bringing in books, and he said he would, but you don't know whether.
And he would sit at the nurse's station and have this sense that he was at work.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was good, and they said that's no bother. And then it was later that when he wasn't coping so well, in the evenings, when it was quiet and the nurse was doing her rounds, there'd be nobody at the station, and he'd be sitting there, or he'd start coming down at early morning and sitting there, and he was giving out to people. But it wasn't him. Yeah. So they put him in the securer area downstairs. There was only about 10. 12 people, and he got on okay down there. It was calmer. Yeah. It was a much calmer place. It was busy out in the main.
And then what got him in the end? Was it a kind of a progressive?
Well, he had AFib, heart condition, but it didn't deter him doing anything, and it was just degeneration of the brain, really. And they could see that, and because he had medical attention while he was there, very much so. They were good, actually. And we knew is that even we thought he might get Christmas out of it. But we used to bring him home for Christmas, but he didn't engage, and it was kind of awkward for him, really. I think he, when you kind of say to yourself, this isn't my usual place,
Yeah.
So we'd go into him.
So what did it feel like when, then he's not there and...
Well, when he died, despite you knowing that the end is coming, you don't realise the implication of it until you actually go through it. And my car used to just take a right-hand turn at Sutton Cross, because I used to go down on the coast roads in Baldoyle down to see him, and that was gone.
Yeah.
That was gone, and because there was no point in ringing him. He never ring me because he didn't know how to work the phone, and I think he broke a few of them, and like just trying to, even the radio we bought him, he broke the area because he thought maybe that had something to do with putting it on, and so we got it in a different one. Mary found a different one, and she was great. She could pre-record things on it, and he had all the songs that he loved and the singers that he liked.
Yeah,
he loved, and if I was there and there was a country and it was a western on the TV, I'd put that on because he loved westerns.
Yeah.
So look, he was comfortable.
Yeah.
That's as much as you can say for illness, to be honest.
But you're very active in your life now. You're great at...
well, a friend of mine really forced me onto the Peninsula group. She said, I'm not taking no.
What is the Peninsula group?
It's ladies just meet up once a month. Then they have little branches within the club itself. You can do, if you like gardening, you want to do the gardening committee, or you want to do the arts, or you want to do a book club, and they had got cooking, but now they got all older. They're abandoning the cooking, but they're not abandoning the sessions they used to have.
Yeah.
So they'd have tea and coffee in somebody's house and that sort of thing. So it's a connection. And then they have a widows group, and they meet up a couple of Wednesdays for lunch, and they meet up on once a month, and they go to have a meal on a Sunday. Because as everybody knows, the weekends are the loneliest.
Yeah.
Particularly Sunday, because I suppose it's family day, and people think, now my girls are good to me. I go and have lunches with them and walks and drives, and they're good to me. So I'm not particularly lonely. I miss my sisters too.
Oh yeah, but how many of your sisters are deceased? There's how many?
Three.
Three.
Three of my sisters is Frida, Jimna, and Marjorie, and then my two brothers, Tom and Peter. So out of 8, there's 5 of us gone. 5 of them gone. So there's only 3 left: Joan, Anna, and myself.
And are they near you?
Yeah. Anna lives in Howth, and Joan lives in Stillorgan. I come on the phone to her regularly if I don't call out, but I do call out to her now and then. She's 89 and is a little bit immobile now.
I see it with my mum and her sisters too, and that this is the arc of life or whatever.
It is,
but it's
never.
But you're still you in embodying all the ages you ever were, and you're still Edie, so it's
a progression of life, but you don't think about it when you're up and running around.
Exactly.
And it's only when you have some something comes along that makes you feel, yes, I am my age. Whereas before you never thought about age.
Before you, yes.
No, I remember when I was 50, and I remember that very well. And I said, oh my God, I'm 50, and then, of course, the whole decade went by and I didn't think about anything, and I was 60. And I said, oh my God, it's 60. And then 60 came to 70. Well, when you hit 70, you start thinking.
Is it?
I think, because you're looking at the average life of a person, and you say to yourself, now, would I have another 10 years or 12 years?
Yeah.
And I mean, time just flies.
Doesn't time fly? But I don't know, did you feel, I would say in the last year or two, I've really started thinking, how much longer do I have? I never thought that before. And that has kicked in for me.
And even you can't get it out of your head.
No, you can't. You go, okay, this is definitely, if... you just know what the average life is, and you know the best part of your life's over.
Yeah, absolutely. But you don't, at those ages, I never felt I couldn't do anything that I used to do.
Yeah.
I started bridge, and now it wasn't my first love, to be honest, but I went because I said, look, nighttime, it'll come in handy in the winter to do that. Jim went with me and we learned together, but he used to play cards, but it was, I think 35. It was a similar game to that, bridges, but I never did cards, really. Except at Christmas we might have a game of something that doesn't tackle your concentration too much. But I did do a fair bit, and I could get by. And then I decided, when I gave up tennis, after COVID, I decided, look,
it was only after COVID that you gave up tennis?
No, that was it. I was playing tennis.
And would you have been a bit of it
fit then, but I did get...
Because you need to be pretty fit to play a game of tennis.
Yeah, well, we used to play twice in this particular game. We had a Saturday and a Wednesday. No, Saturday and a Thursday. And then I used to play with the group of ladies that just came on a Sunday morning, and we all played with one another for 20 minutes, and we'd come in and play another 20 minutes. And there was a prize then for whomever had the most points.
And why did you... So it was after COVID, you just didn't go back?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I got high blood pressure, and I had 2 stents. So I said, look, time went on, and I kept my membership up. But at the end of it, I said, no, I won't be going back. So although I go down to the tennis club, we played bridge down there on a Tuesday. So it was great. And it's just a constant interaction with the ladies that I know, because most of them are doing the same as I'm doing.
Yes, yeah.
And they belong to most of the clubs on the peninsula.
Yeah.
So you meet... It's like when I came over here, I knew a lot of them from these clubs. Yeah. So it was never, you were never totally in a new situation.
Yeah, because you made a big change with your living situation too. You swapped your house with your daughter's apartment.
Yeah. And this lady now wants me to join another group in Sutton. I said, I won't have time for myself.
Yeah. And what is
said, well, you're going to join.
What is the group in Sutton?
Well, they're at the active retirement. So they meet up on a Wednesday morning, and then they walk on a Tuesday, and they go for a holiday once a year, foreign.
Wow, that sounds fun. Yeah.
So they're all gone off to Greece now.
They've gone off to Greece now?
Yeah, they're off in Greece at the moment. So, they do it at the end of the season, and they get good deals.
It's actually the perfect time to go, because Greece has gone so hot.
Yes.
So this is the time to go.
About.
Yeah.
I said some of them, God, how well I put up with this heat. But it is a bit cooler this time of year.
But still beautiful.
But it's still beautiful.
And it's nice because it's the end of the season and you don't have that feeling in all these places now. You feel you're being ripped off.
Absolutely.
And it's just lovely to go this time of year, actually. Yeah.
So they're all really nice people. So I said to her I'd think about it. So every time I see her, Edie, we'll have to have that talk.
Edie, I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm really moved by our conversation, and I really appreciate your honesty. And I didn't expect where the conversation was going to go, and thank you. Thank you for that lovely, honest chat, and for sharing your life with me. And that was really beautiful, and for telling me about Jim and you know about where you're at now. Thank you, Edie.
Look, it's nice to talk to you, and I can honestly tell you that from the bottom of my heart. I am a talker. My dad was a talker. My granddaughter's a talker.
Brilliant.
So we all know where we got from.
Yeah.